Y'all already know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back getting out of a gang. How the hell do you get out of a gang? I done seen it. Let's relive it. All right, so for starters, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments that wouldn't fly here, that wouldn't fly there. All right, I wasn't there. I was here. What goes in some states might not go in others. I don't want anybody to think, oh, well, that's wrong, that's wrong. It may be wrong. And also to let y'all know, I was never a gang member. Never. Never rocked one of those set. Had homeboys from all different sets. You're going to deal with that in prison if you're a cool dude. But me personally, I wasn't a gang member. I have been in a cell with pretty much every gang member you can think of. Gangs y'all have never heard of, gangs you hear of every day, you name it, I've been housed with them. I'd say I was probably in the cell with more Bloods than anything, but that's because Bloods got more numbers than any other gang here in Virginia. So let's go ahead and get into it. Everybody knows how people get in gangs. Might get jumped in, might get sent in. If you're a female, you might get sexed in, missions, all these different things dudes got to do in different sets. Well, I'm going to start the story off, man. I think I'll give y'all 3 today. On a dude that he didn't get beat out of a gang. He had problems because of what he was claiming. We're here in Virginia. I'm in the jail. It's a white dude. I know him from the streets. Solid dude, man. I knew when I ran into him in jail that he was going to bang. You know what I mean? He was doing the same thing in jail he was doing in the streets. If you wanted to get physical, he was all about it. Me and dude would meal up. We would kick it. And that would change. Not long after me getting locked up. Now, I can't speak for other states. I can't speak for, West, East. I can speak for VA. Here in VA, it is common knowledge. It is known. There are no white Bloods. Virginia now. Might be possible somewhere else. But where I'm at, it ain't happening. We got all these blood dudes in the pod. And they're on some get down and lay down type shit. But they're not enforcing that on white dudes. They're pushing that shit towards the black dudes. Like you either gonna be with us or you against us. There is no in between. The only ones they didn't really apply that to was the guys that were already being extorted and were super soft. The guys that had medical conditions or dudes that were really old. Because you're not trying to bring nobody into your organization that everybody already knows is a bitch. What's the point in it? You know what I mean? Like, makes all y'all look bad. You don't want nobody that's too old in your organization because then you're going to spend all your time either trying to defend him or he's no good to you if you go to war. And then you definitely don't want somebody with you that's got a medical condition. You don't want somebody that if all y'all get to wrecking and somebody runs up on him and swings on him, he ducks and shits on himself or, in a wheelchair, none of that. So those dudes, for the most part, were safe. But if you were your everyday average black dude, they were recruiting. And they weren't asking, they were telling you, like, you're either going to be with us, we're going to smash your ass out anytime we feel like it until you join. Dude I know, man, I'm going to leave his name out. He decides that he's going to be blood. And when he first came to me with it, I told him, I said, bro, there ain't no white Bloods in VA. He was like, yes, there is. I said, no, they're not, man. They might be in the streets. But when you hit prison, it's not happening, man. Ain't no white Bloods in VA or in the prisons. He was like, yes, it is, blah, blah. He wanted to argue. So at that point there, I kind of fell back from him, you know what I mean? Do you, my dude, because you're not one to learn, one to listen. You got to learn the hard way. He would get up with these dudes. They took him in the cell. They started the clock. A certain amount of seconds he had to get jumped. 3 dudes went in there. He rumbled them. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Comes out. He's knotted up. He's got bruises. He got his thing off. He did his thing. Some of these dudes got marks on him and stuff. Now they're dapping him up. They done brung him home. He's one of them now, right? From that point there, me and him really didn't kick it much. We still talk here and there, little bullshit, but our everyday kick it game was gone. You rock with something I don't do, so I'm not rocking with you. He would get into altercations with other dudes for the Bloods, rumble dudes for the Bloods, put in work for the Bloods, and the whole time I'm thinking, me and him are both going to prison. I'm like, man, when he gets to prison, these dudes have set this guy up, man. They've set him up for straight failure. Like, he's got a bad thing coming to him. He leaves before me. I end up getting a fight with a dude from Petersburg, Virginia. We get to rumbling right in the middle in the pod at the tunk table. They take me and my homeboy at the time, Chris, was the two that got to fighting. So I go to the hole. I would end up leaving the hole and getting shipped to receiving, which is the first prison you go to where they classify you and figure out what level you are. That's what I would do. I left the hole, got shipped to receiving. I get there, and as soon as I show up, I see my homeboy. My homeboy's jaw is sitting out, way out. He looks like, one of them cavemen you see off a movie, and his jaw is just huge. So I know a couple other dudes there from doing time. They all tell me, yeah, man, your homeboy came up here. I said, oh, he ain't my homeboy, man. I don't know what he's got going on. He joined the gang. He's gang material now. They're like, anyway, whatever. Dude came up here and got down and was claiming blood. And as you know, man, ain't no white bloods up here. He was like, they asked him for his knowledge, meaning things that only gang members know. You'll be addressed one way. You're supposed to respond a certain way. They asked him all that. All that was cool. All that was, official. But they still wasn't dealing with the fact that he was a white dude banging blood. They would end up taking him out back and pretty much was just chilling. Told him, you can't be blood. You ain't blood. You're false flagging. False flagging means pretty much you're claiming a set that ain't your set. He argued with him, got all hype, and it was just an all-out smash fest. Everybody crashed him. All them blood dudes, as many as they could put on him at once, just smashed him out. They didn't use the jail politics, the gang politics of how many people it's supposed to be, because he's considered not to be truthful, not to be real, claiming something he's not about. This dude was down for them blood dudes. Do you think that shit mattered? No. His jaw was wired, and he was eating soup through a straw. He had what's called finger food meals, which is pretty much liquids and stuff. They're giving this dude liquid meals 3 times a day because his jaw is wired shut. So, like I said, that's VA. Next one we'll get into, man, is a dude named Flip. Flip is also a white dude. Flip was GD. I didn't know Flip from the streets, but Flip was from generally not far from where I'm from. Same area. He was real big into prescription drugs on the streets, had robbed a bunch of pharmacies, got these people for their money, got them for their pills, rolled out, got caught. Flip had a dude in the cell with him named Shorty, another white dude, a little small dude. Flip and Shorty end up getting caught. Flip is in there flipping Shorty, doing all the things he ain't supposed to be doing, and they get caught having sexual relations. I did not have sexual relations with that woman type shit in the cell. Him and his cellmate both go to the hole. Now, we all know that with Flip being gang affiliated, this is going to be bad. If he comes back to this side of the yard, it's going to be bad if he goes to that side of the yard because they're going to send a kite over there to get at him. About 30 days goes by, they bring Flip back in the pod. Dudes push up on Flip. Flip was crip now. They tell him, you can't, you done violated our codes. This shit ain't cool. You making us look bad. You need to come out to rec today. I knew when they told Flip he had to go out to rec, meaning he had to go out to yard, that it wasn't nothing they wanted to talk about. They wanted him out there because they could isolate the situation and just completely crash him, you know what I mean? Flip goes out there, and they made this big commotion in the pod at first where they was going to bank him, but they didn't. And they're telling him, you're going to go out to the yard, you can go out to the yard. So I'm like, and where they used to fight at was right outside my cell window. Like my cell window was, I'm in 20 and I'm at my cell. If you look out my window, you can see the building where the hole is, where they take people in to execute them. You can see the handball court. You can see the door where people come out for rec. I'm in the corner. And that's my view. And I see the towers, the fence, the track, all that, the basketball courts. They take this dude Flip out there, and I go ahead and I go to rec. I don't have the weight pit that day. Another yard's got it. We used to alternate who had the rec, the weight pit. And they tell Flip, go ahead and go over in the corner. Now, he's got all these Crip dudes, all his Crip, people out there, and they're watching. And I'm looking up thinking, damn, this is a lot of dudes, man. Flip, they did something a little different I hadn't really seen many times. They got their biggest dude, their biggest Crip, and they sent him at Flip. He annihilated Flip. Flip gave it 190%, man. He fought his ass off, and they crushed that dude. Beat him into the dirt, and to where he was laying on the dirt, face down, blowing dirt, trying to get up. Dude would let him get up. He just rumble Flip. You want to be gay? Boom, 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 boom. Will make us look bad. Boom, boom, boom. Just beat Flip to pieces, right? So Flip gets up, and he's bleeding profusely, man. His forehead's split. His jaw's all sideways. Nose is bent. I said, damn, man, they crushed Flip. Nah, it's not. What they're doing with Flip is, first of all, they're making him fold his flag, which means we no longer rock with you. We don't support you. And we're going to do everything we want to you because you made us look bad until we get done. As Flip makes his way to his feet after about the third time he's been knocked down, him and this dude went at it for a good probably 45 seconds to a minute. If you don't think that's a long time, you ain't never really fought before. He stands up. Everybody, for us that's not gang affiliated, we think it's over. Another dude steps up. He's like, nah. I got to have him. Now I'm starting to realize what's going on. All these dudes ain't crowded around to watch. All these dudes are crowded around because they all want a piece of beating down Flip. Next dude comes in. Flip is winded. Like I told you, he's already got a broke nose. His jaw's swollen. There's a crack on his forehead. It's all scuffed up and being slammed on the blacktop. Next dude comes in. It's an easy win for him. He jumps straight in there. Fucks Flip world up. Just crushes Flip. Flip is now laying on the ground and can barely get up. And the big dude that beat him up the first time was like, nah, cuz, get up. Walks out, extends his hand, stands him up. Flip stands up. The next dude comes in. Just beats the hell out of Flip. By the time it was over, it must have been 6, I want to say 6, maybe 7, maybe even 8, but I want to say 6 to 7. It's been a while. That would end up beating Flip up. After that, Flip's sales started getting ran up in. He started getting robbed. Dudes were stealing from him. We all knew who was doing it. We seen it. He put a big-ass target on his back. The last one I'm going to give y'all, man, is on a dude named G. And G was GD. I remember the day he came into the pod. Seemed like a cool dude. You know what I mean? You could tell when he first came in, he was a little timid. He had just got here. He ain't walking all big and bad. He's got his bags. He's just walking, kind of just minding his business. Skinny white dude, young dude, 22, 23 years old. At the time, he's not gang affiliated. Wouldn't be long, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They take him in the cell and they beat him in. Now he's GD. He was so happy about this, man. Like you could see immediately, one of the first things he did was he went and got, his set plastered all across his shoulder. Like he got all these different GD tattoos. He was really about that being GD. I peeped it for what it was from the beginning. They brung him in to be their crash test dummy. They didn't bring him in because he was solid. They didn't bring him in because he was a hitter. They didn't bring him in for none of that. They brought him in because he was a crash test dummy. He had something to offer them. They were just going to get it until they couldn't get it no more. He go to commissary. They take his commissary. They come in. Everybody got to eat. You got to break bread. And they would take 95% of his commissary and split it between themselves. He was always calling home and having his people do 3 ways. They spent more time on the phone on his dollar than he did. You name it, they took him for it. Then we get to a point one day where they got a dude that's in there that's GD that they want handled, and you can already tell G don't want to handle it. He don't want to mess with it, man. He's not trying to fight. He's scared. And they want him to go in the cell and rumble this dude, and he's like, "No, I'm not going in there." And the main dude is like, "You gonna go in there, or we're gonna beat the shit out you." He was like, "Man, I ain't signed up for this, man. I know that dude. That's my homeboy. I don't want to fight with him." They was like, "Well, cool. We'll beat him up. Then we're gonna beat you up, right?" So they go in there and they beat the dude up that they wanted G to fight initially, smash him, just completely just trash this dude in the cell. Not to the point of having him on the ground and beating him, but he would drop, they'd stand him back up, and they'd rumble him again. I'm not sure what he did. Now they take G in the cell, and they beat the piss out of G. Like, they beat G to the point that I hadn't seen them do their own like that in a very long time. You know what I mean? Unless somebody did something very foul. And all this dude did was refuse to do something they asked him to do. He comes out the cell after they beat him up. And like I told you, they hurt him pretty bad. He comes out, he's like, "Y'all a bunch of pussies for what y'all just did. Y'all was kicking me on the ground like fuck y'all," you know what I mean? He's snapping. I'm surprised. I didn't think he had it in him to go at him like that, right? And they was like, "Well, if it's a problem, you can fold your flag." You know what I mean? Like, you can get the fuck up out of here. And he was like, "It's whatever. I don't care. Y'all shouldn't. How y'all kicking me on the ground, stomping my head? Fuck y'all." You know what I mean? Like I told y'all, they never wanted this dude really to be a part of them. You could see it. They would just send him on dummy missions. They tell him, "Go back in the cell." He's like, "I'm not going back in the cell." He's making a big commotion in the pod, hoping the COs can see what's going on, maybe come in and save him before it happens. They grab him by his arm and drag him. He's pulling. They're shoving him and dragging him by his arm back into the cell. This go around, man, so many different dudes, because now they're looking at him like he's a traitor. He's committed treason. You know what I mean? He's made them look bad. He said, "Fuck all y'all. I don't want to be with y'all no more. Get me out the gang." They take him in the cell, man, and they just totally annihilate him. It sounded like they were in there with jackhammers trying to knock down the walls as they were beating this boy, man. Mind you, I said he's young. This dude didn't deserve all that. They come out the cell maybe 3-4 minutes later after everybody's taking turns going in there, and they're in there so deep that I don't understand how they're really hurting him when there's so many people in there. It's like crowded. He comes out, he looks like Elephant Man. Like, his face is just contorted, and just there's shit sitting in places it shouldn't be sitting. One side of his face is higher than the other. His face is just smashed. They have broken all types of shit in his face. So I see the dude and I'm looking at him. I'm like, man, these dudes just ain't learning about this gang shit. You know what I mean? Like, y'all tripping. Y'all not about to take me in there and do none of that shit to me. I'd have got a knife immediately and just tried to keep myself safe, man. The next day he comes to me and he went outside. They ended up banking him again on the yard because he was walking around with his shirt off with GD tatted on him, his set tatted on him. He was, they're looking at it like, "Man, you walking around with that shirt off like you still with us." They beat the shit out of him again. He comes in that evening. It's like maybe, I think 3:30, 3:15 when Rec was called. And Rec being called means Rec's over. And he says, "Jay, I got to get these tattoos off me, man." I said, "Well, I'm booked up, bro. There's not really anything I can do. And I'm not trying to get in the middle of what y'all got going on." He's like, "Look, man, they said when I come to Rec tonight that if I still got these tattoos on me, they're going to cut them off of me. Like, they're going to legitimately cut the tattoos off me. They come in to check. They better be gone because I walked around with my shirt off today." I said, "Bro, what you doing outside anyway, walking around looking like fucking Elephant Man? Like, how did you make it past the guards looking like a salamander?" You know what I mean? Like, come on, man, you're tripping. I said, "Look, bro, there ain't nothing I can do for you. I'm not getting in the middle of this. You know what I mean? You got in that shit, now you get out. You know how the prison politics go." I said, "But what I will do is I'll give you my backup tattoo gun and enough ink to cover the tattoo. Let me see the tattoo." And he's got this shit plastered. I said, "Look, man, here's enough." He goes in his cell and he pretty much sits down with this tattoo gun and this ink. He hooks it to the adapter and he just scribbles this massive black blob on his arm. Just chewed his arm up, dug it up. You could see the the scabs, the nastiness of how he went too deep. And it's just he just took the gun and just draw, circle, and just back and forth until the tattoo was gone. Then he went on his forearm where he had everything else and, just went back and forth with the gun, It was just, what he did to himself was disgusting, inhumane. I know that shit hurt. And then he's got to walk around with that on him for the rest of his life. It's a part of the reasons right here I ain't never joined gangs, man. I always did Jay. I'm just Jay. I'm Jay every day. Same Jay. Never got down with the gangs. This is a story, a topic I could talk on a lot when it comes to the gangs, because there's just so much of it taking place, man. You got dudes like them that just come in and just don't understand what's going on, man, and how it's going to end. So I always try to leave y'all with something good from the bad. 1, stay away from the gangs. You don't know what's going to happen. 2, don't get locked up like always. And 3, avoid the bad situations. Being in prison is bad enough by itself. Don't put yourself in situations to where everybody's going to want to beat the shit out you, stomp you, or just try to kill you in there. Mind your business, stick to yourself, and you'd be surprised how far they get you. A lot of these guys join gangs because there's numbers in gangs, meaning that if something happens, they feel protected. Not realizing, though, if they're told to do something, they're no longer protected. They just got to do it. It's a crazy, crazy world we live in. But y'all know what it is, man. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? But yeah, this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. To all my real ones and the awesome real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Y'all know how we do. Salute.